day, my friends. It's your old pal Jordan the Lion coming to you from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. How are you all doing today? I hope you said great. I couldn't come to Milwaukee and know that they have a National Bobblehead Museum and Hall of Fame and not share it with you guys. I always love getting a free bobblehead when I go to a game, and this place has some of the greatest. In fact, Hall of Fame. So Daze with Jordan the Lion, you all, and this place begins right now. Most of my experiences were getting free bobbleheads at basketball and baseball games, but it became so popular they started making them and selling them in stores. The slogan is "Bobble on in today." So we are in the bobblehead capital of the world. They have a little video here that starts you off before you look through 10,000 bobbleheads. And I was kind of wondering before I came, I'm like, I wonder if they'll have one of those like devices that makes them all bobble the way I've seen at some of the baseball parks. But then I got to thinking when I walked in, I'm like, can you imagine how annoying that sound would be with all these bobbling? Let's look around. I love it.
We came to Milwaukee.
You could be banned. And that's actually the only rule. The only rule is do not touch anything. They said that they basically started as like two fans going to Milwaukee games and collecting bobbleheads on the free nights, and then they ended up with like 3,000, so they decided to start a Hall of Fame, and then people started sending them and donating them. So I'm just going to show you some of my favorites throughout the place because we could never see 10,000 together. Like that, I love that Bartolo Colon, oldest player ever to hit his first home run. He's a pitcher, and usually a pretty heavy pitcher too. Oh, that is classic. Look at the hair. Right next to Barry Sanders. One of my favorites, Ken Griffey Jr., the kid. Check out that Derek Jeter one. That one's kind of cool. The All-Star one. Columbus Blue Jackets. And the Royals. That's a cool one. Oh, Mike Trout. That's a good one. The Greek Freak. Oh, it's starting to rattle. That's crazy. I was just talking about that. Look at that Shaq one with the Bruce Lee. That's great. Local player, Prince Fielder. That's Juan Pierre when he had his stolen base leading season. There's Robin. Cooperstown Baseball Hall of Fame mascot. George H.W. Bush playing for Yale. Apollo Creed. Here we have some really unique ones. Check these out. Like Crazy Baby, Smoothie King, and Dogs and Suds up here. Ronald McDonald, Mickey, Minnesota United. That's a cool one. The Planet Hollywood mascot. That's cool. Kurt Angle. Kind of have a Gene Simmons one. This is all baseball over here, and then we'll hit this section over here, which is like the historic ones. This whole side, because we're close to Chicago, are all Cubs. The Joe Madden curse is over. That's great. Look at that one. Then up here they have the entire Red Sox team from their championship, and they're all holding their own individual trophies. Isn't that crazy? What dedication. And then it flows into the Dodgers, all the Dodger players. That Babe Ruth one is amazing. Yeah, he was a base coach for the Brooklyn Dodgers. And look at the Kershaw one. That one's good. I was actually at Kershaw's very first game. He gave up a home run to Albert Pujols. Roy Campanella in his wheelchair. That's interesting. And you've got the original four Ron Say. Here we've got Sandy Koufax and all of his no-hitters holding those baseballs. And then back here, Don Zimmer's a player and coach. That's a cool one in there. 16-time winner, Brooks Robinson. That one's Pedro Martinez, and he actually signed the base. That's kind of cool. Some cool baseball mascot ones. Pete Rose Jr. That says Moose. I think that's probably Mike Moustakas. Look at these oversized ones. I like that Michael Jordan one. That one's awesome. He's holding the trophy and it has all the rings right at the base of it. So here's the historical ones I was telling you about. Like, look at this. You got the Beatles. Then they also have an old Clemente. You can see some original Peanuts bobbleheads. Had to be repaired. Yeah, these are probably the first ones I remember. I think my uncle had either a Browns or a Bengals one. Cincinnati. Expos. Chief Wahoo. We did have that one in our household. So this one's on display because the owners, when they started this place up, when they got into making bobbleheads themselves, this is the very first one they did. Michael Pohl, who's a Special Olympian and longtime manager for the Milwaukee Panthers athletic team. They did one in tribute to him. The Special Olympics. And these are all Negro Leagues. These are like Satchel Paige, and that's a nod to 100th anniversary of the Negro Leagues. That would be probably Josh Gibson right there. Jackie Robinson playing for the Kansas City Monarchs when he was in the Negro Leagues. There's a giant bobblehead right there. You can take your photo, the mascot for the Hall of Fame. So this is awesome. They made a Pete Rose one right here of him sliding in head first doing his Charlie hustle. And then look, down below it, they made a bobblehead of Pete Rose showing off his bobblehead. Isn't that great? Here they have MMA fighters and Bruce Buffer. Interesting. Here's one of Frank the Frosty Beverage Man, Notorious B.I.G., Patrick Mahomes, Wedgie, that's interesting, and Mr. Sticky. There's the big Brewers mascot. So over on the opposite side of this, we'll see all the Brewer bobbleheads. And there are many. We gotta show Robin Yount on his motorcycle there, looking like Richard Petty. There's Raleigh Fingers, Paul Molitor, and Robin Yount. Even Superman. Bob Uecker at WrestleMania. That's great. Remember when Andre the Giant choked him at WrestleMania? And then here is the Greek Freak, basketball player, at a Brewers game. And Lorenzo Cain back there, looking like Banana Man. Storm and Gorman. Look at all these. I love the novelty ones for the minor league teams. These are just absolutely awesome. So creative. Those mascots, I love them. They even have one for the Cocaine Bear, who I have met the real Cocaine Bear in person. I believe he was in Lexington, I think. Oh, 80s night. Look at that hair. Mr. Met. Packer bobbleheads up here. And then Vince Lombardi and Coach Sherman down here. This is actually one of my favorites. Look at that, the cheese head inside the stadium. Oh, that was cool. That one you have to put together in pieces because it's Aaron Rodgers out here on the end, Brett Favre, and Bart Starr. Then you slide them all together. Favre's 50,000 yards. There's Aaron Rodgers looking like Richard Petty also. And these are for the Milwaukee Bucks, the Greek Freak being the MVP. Here's all the pop culture stuff. Like, look at the freaking Grateful Dead stuff up here. The Dancing Bears. So of course they have to have Jerry Garcia. These are all good. I like all these. I'm a Grateful Dead fan too, so no surprise I'd like them. Oh, the bus back there. Howdy Doody. And Popeye. Oh, nice, Dr. Seuss. We just went to the Dr. Seuss Museum. Here they're showing things that inspired bobbleheads or were similar to. Hugh Hefner, Anna Nicole Smith, Jeannie, Grace Kelly, Marilyn Monroe, the Three Stooges are up in here.
The idea for the Hall of Fame Museum was born in 2014. That experience combined with the
look at the Star Trek. Cheech and Chong and the Fonz. Like I said, just way more than I can ever show you at one time, but it should hopefully inspire you to want to come check this place out. It's only $5 admission. They have parking out front. Fun time. The Wright brothers, giant Jimi Hendrix, along with Elvis. Hank and Elton John together. Hey, it's the Monkees. Got Nature Boy Ric Flair. A lot of my favorites. Eddie Guerrero, Hulk, The Rock. DDP, Andre, Goldberg, Mr. T, Joe Louis, Muhammad Ali. Nice. Nice selection. Rocky, Shakespeare and Edgar Allan Poe. They got a lot of hockey. Oh, those Reds ones are good. And Jacob deGrom, that's a good one. That big one in the back, see, you can even stick your heads through there and be a little bobblehead, or come over here and take a photo with a big giant Vladimir Guerrero when he played for the Harrisburg Senators. Huh, 1996. He was a rookie with the Expos. So these were the teams that we saw depicted, some of them anyway, in a league of their own. There's the Rockford Peaches. There were other teams too you can see up here that we didn't see in the movie, like Minneapolis Millerettes, Grand Rapids Chicks, Muskegon Lassies. More wrestling. Hogan, Paul Heyman, Lesnar, rest in peace, Bray Wyatt the Fiend, Ric Flair, Ultimate Warrior. Look at this. The Bret Hart, Stone Cold, when Stone Cold passed out. And these are all Laker championship. LeBron right there in the middle. I like these. These are all Neon Dion right here. Deion Sanders. Got him in his Falcons stuff, then his Cowboys, then 49ers up there. Now he's coaching. They got some great bobbleheads here, man. This place is great. Walter Payton. These must be all NFL team. And then a whole rack of political. From governors to you name it. These are all Fauci. Yeah, there's just, oh, look at this. Bernie Sanders with the face mask on. That's interesting. This one's kind of funny too. Mike Pence with the fly on his head. Boris Johnson down there. Interesting. This place is amazing. Like I said, only $5, over 10,000 bobbleheads, and they have parking out front. How can you beat it? So with that being said, we are going to call it a day from the National Bobblehead Museum here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Have a great night and goodbye.